Hi everyone, I am Shaunak Shah, who is working as a senior data engineer at Larsen and Toubro Infotech, and this is my, I should say, 14th month of work experience, and I have done my bachelor's from the University of Calcutta in the computer science department, and the rest you can find out in my LinkedIn profile, I guess. And now I am in conversation with Shudeep of Persistent Systems, and I'm looking to have a great time.
Yeah, actually he is a data engineer, I think, in LTI. Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
he will talk about his experience overall, and we obviously get some more interesting topics from him. So let's start.
Yeah.
So please share your
Yeah,
experience.
definitely. Yeah, my experience in Larsen and Toubro, I should say, has been very good because of two specific, very operational like reasons that are not exactly work or computer science related. The first of them being that my company has been very open with the hybrid work system. Like they have been very accepting about it, and they have like shifted and restructured their administrations to put the employees first. Like I have to commend them for that. Like I am an employee who is basically centered at Bombay, right? I work in a US project, but I had the freedom to choose my nearest development center, which like right now is so Kolkata, and I will also have the freedom to shift it, but that is of course on a case to case basis, since you cannot have all the freedom in the world, right? So what I have experienced is great communication from the HR, right? And the second most thing that I would come to is of course work related, that I have had a very good time with my peers, my seniors, and my team managers, etc. That we work in a comparatively smaller cohort in our project, right? So I have had the chance to basically learn a lot of new skills and to learn what data engineering truly stands for, and where and how is the importance of data in the modern world across all fields. Like that I have been able to live and experience firsthand. So that would, I should say, is something that most students will also not get the chance to understand till they join an organization of this stature or caliber, I should say. So apart from that, like since I told you that I work in some US projects, so that would mean that sometimes that you have to work in shifts which are not exactly favorable on the Indian standard time. But of course there's some that's something you have to live with. But on that front as well, I should say that the human so representative has also been very cooperative, like with me, to give me some concessions, not just me, to everyone else, that is. So overall I should say that my experience through LTI has been quite good. Importance they have given to the hybrid system already.
Yeah. So we can do 2 days at home and 3 days in office. So that's the hybrid
Yeah,
system.
yeah. See, see, this thing is, this is somewhat of a location based, right? Like my office right now, the dev center at Kolkata is basically a 300 to 350 seater, but, and I'll say the but in capital letters, because the employees who are based around Kolkata, they are like over 500. So what happens is that you can create a demand and through ticket system through which not all employees will be at office, but some of them will definitely be, and then the cycle changes. See, I have been to office for just over 2 weeks in my lifetime. Okay, I'll be very honest with you. But 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 that's the thing, right? My company has been very open with that. Like some of my colleagues, like they prefer working from office itself, and we share the same project. So both of us are getting what we want, and I myself could not have asked for a better arrangement, to be honest with you. So if you're looking for hybrid work, like it's still a work in progress, I would obviously recommend LTI all day, all night.
But some of the HRs think that it's not a productive thing. It decreases productivity. So it also hampers some productive things.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah.
I would agree with that on some level, but that also depends on what kind of work, and that mostly depends on how are you capable of structuring your organization around it. Now, you have to remember that LTI is not just doing this for me, like it is wanting to do it for everyone who is with the organization. So they have been very happy with this route. Or like, see, they might change this in the coming days. That I'm not aware of. I'm not going to be aware of, right? So that comes first. Like whether you like how do you define productivity itself, right? Like the reason that I have been allowed to work as I wish is because the company knows that I am getting what I want from this so particular
Yes.
candidate or an employee. When that stops happening, they'll impose themselves upon me, as they will with any other employee, as they should, I should say. So productivity, in my opinion, is very subjective, and in many cases, in most cases, candidate specific. So like that would be my conclusion and my opinion regarding it.
Yeah, yeah. One thing we want to know, okay, when are you in college? So,
Yeah.
are you still interested in data science? So, you are preparing for data science only, or what are the things you just focus on to be just preparing on that? So, just throw a
Okay,
light
so
into it.
here is, yeah, of course, because like you have asked a very important question, I should say, that my interview, even like most of like the candidates that come into the tech industry, was based on data structures and algorithms.
Yeah.
Okay, it has it had nothing to do with data science except one component. In my interview, there were two SQL questions, right? So let me tell you like this, like establish this directly straight away going forward, that if you want to become a data professional, be it an engineer, a scientist, analyst, whatever like you can call yourself, whatever so position you might have, you are not going to become any of that until and unless you master SQL or SQL or whatever you may call it. SQL or SQL is the connective tissue of the data world. That I have understood thoroughly in my time and in the professional's time, right? Because data science, what it truly like does is like I'll tell you how I used to like view things. So regarding data science and so everything, that I used to have data frames, I used to build models, I used to run my code, then whatever the result came, I used to tweak them, get so better accuracies and etc. Now I am working as a data engineer. What we basically do is build data infrastructure pipelines. So in my work, you will not mostly find what you like know as model, so building like stuff like that. Okay, what you will find is how to curate and structurize data so that people down the infrastructural pipeline can build their models upon. So what it has helped me understand is that the data frames that we used to work upon in college, right, to build our projects and everything, how they come to be in the first place, and it's a tedious task. Like there's a whole pipeline that goes into it, like getting raw data, structuring it, getting an ingestion pipeline, then curating it through applications, and then you have a data frame that can be used by business teams, by further so customers, by application teams, and so on and so forth. Like I can keep like naming terms, right?
Yeah.
So what it has taught me is that what I used to learn for my interview and what I use in my work, like they are worlds apart, but the connective tissue is SQL, right? You are not going to become a data professional of any sort until and unless you get SQL right.
Yeah.
So that's critically important, right? And what I have learned is that the world of the data so professional is still being curated, it's still being so created. Like there's a lot of so concepts which have no relation to how you learn data structure or the algorithms traditionally, right? Like they are completely separate concepts and need to be learnt in a very different manner, which you may or may not have in your, most likely you will not have in your college courses, right? So I want to like chart this path as I go along. So whatever my so position may be, that I personally want to remain a data so professional. Like it has really grasped my attention and I want to continue with this. That's all.
Actually, when students are in college, they are misguided.
Yeah.
Actually, professors
Yeah.
are also not aware of what to do. Actually, they were not working in any industry, okay. So they don't know. So students got misguided, and they start learning only Python. Even they are not going
Yeah.
for Java, okay, or any
Yeah.
database languages. So just please guide them with a pathway, as how to start with and what are the advanced skills they need to get into the industry.
Okay. Firstly, what I would suggest the students is to do industry-based research. And why do I say research? That is because of only one thing, that you have to understand two things: what the company does actually, and how it recruits its people. Okay. Since I have had interviews with not only service based so companies, but also with startups, but also with some so product based as well. Some startups I got, some of the product based like I cracked, still I did not go for them. Okay. And of course many I failed. Okay, so let's be very honest about it. Okay. Okay, so what I would say is that firstly, like you have to understand one thing. Sometimes what you are have to be like what they test your skills on before so recruiting you might not be like what you truly worked on. Here is where that I would also give my thumbs up to the startup, since basically they had given me like exactly what they were working on, that these are the skills that we work on, this is what we want to test you at, nothing else. Like I had interviewed for two companies whose whole test was on SQL.
Oh,
Okay, so basically like my thumbs up will go to them, since they know what they're looking for, right? But most of companies, what they do from the get go is basically take a test on data structures and algorithms, since that builds foundations, and then whatever like else is needed they can learn on the way. That works to a certain level, of
yeah.
course, but it doesn't work at every level, let me tell you, since you will face problems, right? So my first find out what the companies, how the companies hire and what the company does. Okay. Now secondly, now there is this tussle, right? Like what language should I learn, what like Java or Python and etc. So I'll say this thing, like in my work I have to use both.
Yeah.
I have to use Java and I have to use Python. In my time, like when I was in college, I absolutely hated Java, right? I was a Python guy through and through, right? Now here's something like which is very curious about Python. Python can be used in many things. It can be used for DS algo, it can be used for data engineering, it can be used for data science, it can be used for web development, and it can also be used to build data pipelines, right? Like you so combine it with so PySpark and everything, like those things we use already. Okay, so my thing is like you have to first purpose yourself on what you are aiming for. Once again, if you are aiming for software based roles, so prepare yourself on DS algo specifically. and build projects which show that skill, enhance that skill. If you're looking to become a data professional, right, you can become that. You explore that part of Python that deals with that. You explore SQL, like you have to master SQL, not just explore. Okay, but once again, that will come down to the first point, is you have to understand how your company hires, right? Since they might not be in coherence. Okay, now coming to Java, right? Java is very important. Okay, Java is something that is used in all parts of the infrastructure, but that does not necessitate that you have to learn it, right? So here is where once again the concept of DS algo trumps everything else, right? DS algo, like if you are going to learn, what I would suggest is you learn on C++ and Java, right? And Java, not or Java, right? But and don't choose Python for DS algo specifically, since what I have had in my field, the usage of Python expands itself when it comes to data, right?
Yes, yes.
When it comes to building data infrastructure, be it models, be it pipelines, be it anything else that is, right? Or like the companies that do Flask or Django based so development, so that's a different story. That I am not the perfect candidate to lecture you on, since I had very little ties with web development in my time, to be very honest with you, right? So first do that, okay? And thirdly, like data engineering is not entirely the most popularized role, I should say. So like compared to data scientists, right? Like in what I see across the colleges or like hackathons or competitions, is that the role of the data scientist and the software engineer is favored. Somewhere the role of the data engineer gets subdued or subverted, but that's not an issue. But once you start working there, that once you start so recognizing people, you would understand where the importance lies. Like I was mad about a data scientist role, right? But right now that when I am in the organization, I have learned to understand that we cannot view just one end of the pipeline. We have to view everyone, that how data comes, who gathers it, how we build the infrastructure, how data scientists work with us to help with that, right? And how the business teams use it at the end, right? So, and here is where I have realized that yes, SQL is the connective tissue across everything, right? So if you're looking for a career in data, please master that. Otherwise there is no path forward. Okay, you might not be like tested on it first and foremost in the interview, but once you enter the organization, it is crucial beyond explanation. Okay, so coming to my last point, right, is the talk of misguidance, right? Yes, misguidance is there and misguidance will be there. There is no way you can avoid it, since the age of information also means the age of misinformation. Okay, so basically what I would say is lap it up all while you can. Like your time, that through first year through second year, I should say, is the time of exploration, right? Like try everything, try to get into competition, do web dev, DSL, go like everything you can get your hands on, since basically knowing what suits you the best and what is going to provide the dividend within your industry, it is not easy. It is going to take time. So give yourself that time. That first year through third semester, and towards from 3 to 4, that you can say that yes, it's okay. And coming to DSL Go, like specifically, there are some like very tried and tested so methods like lead code, like so competitive programming, which I myself used, and they are helpful without question. There is no debate there, like they are helpful. But But if you want to become a data professional, I would suggest that don't just try to look at the data frame and the model building aspects only. Try to understand that how the framework works, that how pipelines are built, how what does a data analyst do, what does a data engineer do, and what does a data scientist do, and what is the difference, right? See, there is some lack of so content in those domains, that how all of these relates. So I think that is why I tried to be here with Sudeep, like, so that to help you out on that. And that would be my final suggestion, that first 3 to 4 semester, give yourself a chance to explore and make mistakes, please. It is very important to understand that.
Making mistakes is okay. You can explore yourself in what
Absolutely.
position you are comfortable, and you will gain your experience, and that will make you stay. So that are the things you must try in your life. And we mostly cover most of the part of data science and how to prepare. We covered all of that. And we need some final tips from our Shona. Final concluding tips, what we want to just give us. So, this Shona.
Yeah, my one tip is going to be that so if you want to be a data professional, learn SQL first and foremost.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So models, Python, MATLAB they are going to be there, but so will SQL. SQL is something which is all-knowing, is the omnipotent part of the data industry. You have to learn that, right? Apart from that, like in the data world, what I would suggest is like try to go beyond the model building part, and why, like I have just explained over my 2 answers, right? Secondly is obviously learn DS algo, since basically most of the interviews are based around that. For better or for worse, that is not for me to judge, but do learn DS algo without question, and try to learn in C++ and Java itself, since I have not seen Python being explicably used in that until and unless the whole tech stack belongs to Python, right? Which brings me to my like third most point, right? Building a tech stack, right? Why I brought it like in the last point, to make you understand that the technology stack in most organizations is not uniform. Don't expect uniformity. You have to learn along the way. All computer science professionals do that. They learn along the way. They try, test, and they speak up like new skills every day. And you will like face this as well, that for 7 days that you don't use something, your memory starts to dwindle. That's completely normal. It happens to the most experienced of us. Okay, so don't worry about that. Just take it as you go, right? But step 1 and 2, they are to build your basics, and step 3 for me is don't expect uniformity, and like keep exploring always. Okay, and that's, I guess, is enough.
Thank you, Shonak, for guiding the freshers, students, and sharing your experience. It's a great experience and great knowledge. So freshers can.
Thank you. Definitely. Like
they can learn
I
SQL
wanted to
first.
like really help them out. Of course. They have to. Okay.
SQL must be the priority. Okay.
It has to be priority. Like,
because most of the students doesn't focus on these database languages, so they miss it out in college. So I think they should learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they will have to learn if they want to become a data professional.
Thank you, Shonak. Have a great day, and thanks everyone.
Thank you, Sudeep, for having me.
Have a good day. Thanks everyone. Bye.